Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Drawing with Mr. Sepulveda. I'm Mr. Sepulveda, and in today's episode, I bring you another Draw Jar episode. And for those of you guys that are new, my Draw Jar series is a series in which I take student art suggestions, place them in a jar, and pull them out at random. And I give myself a 1 hour time limit max to draw them out. And so for our first art suggestion, this is Rena Rogue from the Miraculous Ladybug. I'm going to be 100% honest, I had no idea who this character was. I definitely have heard of the Miraculous Ladybug, never seen an episode, but I thought the design for this particular character is pretty cool because she has similar resemblances to a fox. And I thought the hair was kind of cool because the hair kind of comes out into foxtails. Color scheme is kind of your generic orange, black, and white for a fox, which I thought was kind of cool. I think she stands out pretty nicely as a whole piece. I think I could have pushed this a little bit further, but ultimately I'm kind of happy with like the headshots. It's kind of my known generic draw or go-to drawing, I guess, is just the head to shoulders kind of piece, right? Yeah, I'm gonna let this one roll, and then I'll talk to you guys about the next suggestion from the Draw Jar. Alright, so the second suggestion is actually one of the ones that I thought was probably the most fun design, and this one was a dog dancing, and I've done a few dogs already in this draw jar, which makes me believe that my students are huge fans of dogs. So I wanted to do a fun pose with this one. I wanted him to kind of be as though he was like spinning around and lifting up his body and kicking his legs straight out. I wanted it to have a little bit more movement to it, and I think displaying the movement was actually one of the things that I did pretty well in this piece. This one didn't take me too long to draw because I already had the idea in my head. I did use some reference photos of dancers from Pinterest to kind of come up with the pose idea for this. Ultimately, I was really happy with the way this turned out. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you thought it turned out pretty well. Again, I'm going to let this keep rolling, and I'll talk to you guys about the next suggestion from the draw jar. Alright, so this next suggestion from the draw jar was for me to draw my favorite Marvel superhero. And I have a few favorites, but I ended up going with Captain America. My idea here was to split him in half, to have a version of him with his mask on and a version of him without the mask, but I wanted to do both sides in two different styles. I'm going to be honest, this one's probably my least favorite of the bunch. I could have just done a really good top to bottom, full bodied Captain America that I would have been really happy with. Ultimately, I think it's because the design did too much and I should have just kept it simple, but instead of simplifying it, I think I just went way too complicated with it. And I think when I was trying to do the two different styles within the one piece, it did eat up a lot more of my time. And this is all me just talking in hindsight. I don't think it's a terrible drawing. I don't think it's the worst drawing, but it is one of the ones that I wasn't 1,000% satisfied with as a whole. But hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully it's not as bad as what I'm making it out to be. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna let this one roll as well. Talk to you guys about the next suggestion in the draw jar. Funny enough, the next suggestion was one that I was probably the most apprehensive about because I don't draw machines, and it was for me to draw a fighter jet. It wasn't until after that I saw that it needed rockets, and I never incorporated it in there. For the student that requested this, I'm sorry, I didn't see the rocket part, but hopefully you kind of like the design for this fighter jet. I don't ever draw any vehicles or machines or anything, so this one I thought was going to be a huge challenge, but again, this one took me the least amount of time, and I think it's because there's a lot more straight lines that I could kind of cheat my way through. There's a couple things wrong with the design. I don't even know what to call them. I guess they're fins or whatever. Again, don't ever draw machines, so I don't know. But I think I could have angled that one on the right-hand side a little bit more, and I think it would have been a little bit more in perspective. But ultimately, I got to do some cool effects with a motion blur, and it shows movement, so I was pretty happy with this one. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'll talk to you guys about the next suggestion in the draw jar. All right, folks, so you guys know I'm a huge anime fan, and so when my student suggested this, I was really excited because I've never drawn this particular character, and it's Itachi Uchiha from the Naruto series, and his Akatsuki form along with a Sharingan. And when I ended up drawing this character, I was just stoked. I had a lot of fun with it. There's some design flaws with like the hair when I look back at it, but ultimately as a whole piece, I'm really happy with it, especially with the background. I feel like the background makes the most sense to this character. Okay. I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm just going to let you guys go ahead, continue watching this process, and I'll talk to you guys about the next suggestion in the Draw Jar series. The next suggestion in the jar was for me to draw any anime character, and so I went ahead and decided to draw Monkey D. Luffy from the anime One Piece. It's probably my #1 favorite anime of all time. I've been watching it for over 20 years. Huge fan of where the manga is going, huge fan of where the anime series is going. Overall, really well made. If you want an anime that is going to last you a really long time, because this is over 1,000 episodes, definitely over 1,000 manga chapters as well. This is definitely the anime for you to get into. The art starts off pretty, I guess, looking at it now, it's not as great, but you got to think about the time frame in which it was made. But the animation now is just phenomenal. A huge fan of it. I think this piece does okay. It's not my best, but definitely better than my 10-minute, 1 minute, 10-second challenge that I did on this channel with Monkey D. Luffy. I was trying to aim for some redemption, but I think I'll get that redemption at a later point in time. We have one more suggestion coming up, and I'll talk to you guys about that last and final suggestion, which happens to be my favorite one in this batch, in just a moment. Interestingly enough, this is a character that was already suggested for me to draw, and it was Itadori Yuji. The only difference is he's got the King of Curses, Sukuna persona that's taking over his body in this one. I had a lot of fun with it. I do end up, this is probably one of the few times that I do this, but I ended up taking this image that I drew, and I erase a lot of the dark inks that I put underneath his neck. Because I felt like it was taking away from his face. I felt like it was creating this weird warpy illusion that was giving him a more pointier chin And you'll see it come up here in just a moment, where I thought like this illustrative dark ink would have been like a really cool idea, but it definitely wasn't. So that's the ink right there, and it's doing this weird thing, and I'm noticing it more now than I did when I was drawing it, obviously. But I ended up fixing it. You'll see that at the end of this clip. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about my second version of Itadori Yuji. Alright guys, well there you have it. This is our biggest draw jar pull, where I was able to draw 7 art suggestions from the draw jar, and I'm really happy with the way this came out. Comment down below which one was your favorite. I would be happy to hear it. And the big announcement is that the color blue 1 hour poll that we had going on the Drawing with Mrs. Sepulveda community area, and this means that I'm going to draw a poster for you guys. This is going to be a free poster where I draw 50 characters that come to mind when I think about the color blue, and you're going to walk away with a free ink bundle poster and a free colored poster. So I'm really excited about that, because that's what I'm doing for my 500 subscriber giveaway. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can find out when that episode gets posted. Guys, as always, I'll see you all in the next video on Tuesday. You guys have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.